Nvidia, the AI factory that prints money. Picture this. You're a gaming company that accidentally became the kingmaker of artificial intelligence. That's Nvidia in a nutshell. Currently, the most valuable company in the world with a market cap of over $4 trillion. It's like starting a lemonade stand and accidentally discovering you've invented Coca-Cola. Founded in 1993 over a meal at Denny's, because apparently world-changing companies begin in America's favorite 24-hour diner, Nvidia started by making graphics processing units, GPUs, for video games. While Intel and AMD were busy making CPUs, the bread and butter of computing, Nvidia was over in the corner perfecting the art of making pixels look pretty. But here's where it gets interesting. GPUs can perform calculations concurrently in a way that regular CPUs cannot, making them more energy efficient and better able to handle sophisticated computing demands. It's like discovering that your fancy sports car isn't just fast, it can also fly. When the AI revolution hit, everyone suddenly realized they needed these specialized chips to train their artificial intelligence models. Today, virtually every major tech company, including Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, and Oracle, has made use of Nvidia chips. Bloomberg literally called Nvidia chips the workhorse for training AI models. Think about it this way: if AI is the new electricity, Nvidia makes the power plants. AI is now infrastructure, and this infrastructure, just like the internet, just like electricity, needs factories, says CEO Jensen Huang. And guess who's building those factories? Yeah, Nvidia. The company has basically achieved what gamers call a speedrun world record in becoming valuable. Over the past 12 months, Nvidia shares have climbed nearly 200%. They went from being a graphics card company to literally reshaping the global economy because everyone needs their chips to power AI applications. CEO Jensen Huang has become something of a tech celebrity, walking around in his signature leather jacket and casually announcing that companies are building $5 trillion worth of factories worldwide that need Nvidia's technology. It's like being the person who owns the only functioning car in a world to drive. Microsoft, the software empire that refuses to die. If companies were video game characters, Microsoft would be that final boss that keeps coming back stronger every time you think you've defeated it. Microsoft currently sits near the top of the list of biggest companies by market capitalization, and honestly, it's earned that spot through decades of refusing to become irrelevant. This is the company that gave us Windows, which basically taught the world how to use computers with little clicking icons instead of typing scary green text commands. But Microsoft's real genius isn't just making software, it's making software that everyone absolutely has to use, whether they want to or not. Think about it. When you go to work, you probably use Microsoft Office. Your company's email probably runs on Outlook. If you're playing video games, there's a decent chance you're using an Xbox. And if your business stores data in the cloud, there's a good possibility you're using Microsoft Azure. Microsoft has mastered the art of being everywhere while somehow making it feel normal. They're like that friend who's always at every party, and after a while, you just accept that they're part of the furniture. But unlike that friend, Microsoft actually makes the party better by providing all the tools everyone needs to function. The company has also gotten really good at adapting to new trends without completely abandoning what made them successful in the first place. When everyone started talking about artificial intelligence, Microsoft didn't panic and pivot their entire business. Instead, they made strategic partnerships, like their massive investment in OpenAI and integrated AI into their existing products. It's like watching someone who's been playing chess for 40 years suddenly learn that the rules changed, but instead of freaking out, they just calmly move their pieces and somehow end up winning anyway. Microsoft has been around since 1975, which in tech years is basically prehistoric, yet they're still competing with companies that were founded when smartphones already existed. Apple, the luxury brand that happens to make computers. Apple isn't just a tech company. It's a lifestyle brand that happened to become really, really good at making gadgets that people can't live without. Apple rounds out the top 3 most valuable companies, and they've achieved this by basically convincing the entire world that their products aren't just tools, they're fashion statements. This is the company that took the humble phone and turned it into the iPhone, which wasn't just a communication device but a pocket-sized computer that revolutionized how humans interact with technology. Before the iPhone, Phones were for calling people and maybe sending the occasional text message. After the iPhone, phones became cameras, music players, gaming systems, shopping tools, and basically portable command centers for managing your entire life. But Apple's real superpower isn't just making good products, it's making products that people emotionally connect with. When someone buys an iPhone, they're not just buying a phone. They're buying into an ecosystem where everything works seamlessly together, looks beautiful, and makes them feel like they're part of an exclusive club. It's like the difference between buying a regular watch and buying a Rolex. Sure, they both tell time, but one of them makes you feel special every time you look at it. Apple figured out how to make technology feel luxurious, which is harder than it sounds because most technology looks like it was designed by engineers for other engineers. The company has also mastered the art of making people want to upgrade their perfectly functional devices every few years. It's not that the old iPhone stops working, it's that the new one has slightly better cameras, a faster processor, and some new feature that somehow becomes essential to your happiness. Apple has basically created a subscription service for technology where instead of paying monthly, you pay $1,000 plus every couple of years for the privilege of having the latest and greatest version of something you already own. And people love it. Amazon, the everything store that accidentally became a cloud computing giant. Amazon started as an online bookstore and somehow evolved into a company that sells literally everything, delivers it to your door, and also happens to power a huge chunk of the internet. It's like starting a small neighborhood library and accidentally becoming the Library of Alexandria, the postal service, and the phone company all at the same time. Amazon is the largest online retailer in the world and has also built a sizable cloud business in Amazon Web Services. But calling Amazon just an online retailer is like calling the ocean just a big puddle. Amazon generated total sales of roughly $638 billion in 2024, including more than $107 billion from AWS. The retail side of Amazon is what most people think of, that magical place where you can order literally anything and have it appear at your doorstep in 2 days or less. Need toilet paper? Amazon. Want a 55-gallon drum of personal lubricant? Amazon has you covered, and they won't judge your life choices. Looking for a book about teaching parrots to speak ancient Latin? Probably on Amazon. But the real plot twist is Amazon Web Services, AWS, which is basically the invisible infrastructure that keeps a massive portion of the internet running. When you're scrolling through Instagram, watching Netflix, or video chatting with friends, there's a good chance Amazon's servers are making it all possible. It's like discovering that the guy who delivers your pizza also secretly owns the power company that keeps your house running. AWS happened because Amazon needed massive computing power to run their own operations, so they built these enormous server farms. Then, some genius at Amazon realized, hey, we have all this extra computing power just sitting around. What if we rent it out to other companies? And thus was born a business that basically prints money. Jeff Bezos, Amazon's founder, became one of the richest people in the world by essentially creating a company that's simultaneously your local mall, your delivery service, and your IT department. Amazon co-founder Jeff Bezos was the fourth richest person in the world as of July 2025. Google, the search engine that knows everything about you. Google started with a simple mission: organize the world's information and make it universally accessible. What they didn't mention is that they'd also become really good at organizing information about you personally and making it accessible to advertisers who want to sell you stuff. Alphabet is the parent company of search giant Google and generates the majority of its more than $350 billion in revenue from online advertising. But Google isn't just a search engine anymore. It's become the internet's answer to "how do I?" for literally everything. Need to know how to change a tire? Google it. Want to settle an argument about which actor was in that movie from 1987? Google knows. Trying to figure out if that weird rash is cancer or just dry skin? Google will either reassure you or send you into a hypochondriac spiral. Spoiler alert, it's usually dry skin. Google has become so integrated into daily life that Google became a verb, which is the ultimate achievement for any company. It's like being so successful at making facial tissues that people start calling all facial tissues by your brand name. Oh wait, That's Kleenex. Google pulled a Kleenex on internet searching, but Google's real genius is in advertising. They figured out how to show you ads for exactly what you're looking for at exactly the moment you're looking for it. If you search for best pizza near me, Google will helpfully show you ads for pizza places that paid to appear at the top of your results. It's like having a salesperson who knows exactly what you want before you walk into the store. Google also has a cloud business, owns YouTube, and has a variety of other ventures it classifies as other bets. YouTube alone has become the world's default platform for video content, from cute cat videos to university-level educational content. They basically own video the same way they own search. Meta, Facebook, the social media empire that bet everything on the metaverse. Social media giant Meta Platforms rejoined the $1 trillion club in January 2024, but it's no stranger to the list. This is the company that started as a way for college students to rate each other's attractiveness and somehow evolved into a platform that connects nearly 3 billion people worldwide. Meta previously hit a $1 trillion market cap back in 2021 when it was still known as Facebook. But then CEO Mark Zuckerberg decided to rebrand the entire company around his vision of the metaverse, a virtual reality world where people would work, play, and socialize using VR headsets. It was like watching someone rename their successful restaurant the future of food, and then spending billions of dollars on a menu that only serves food pills because they're convinced that's what people will want to eat in the future. Except the food pills cost $400 and make you nauseous, and people keep asking for regular burgers. Despite the metaverse bet not quite working out as planned, Meta's core business remains incredibly strong. Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp collectively serve billions of users who scroll, post, share, and argue about politics in ways that generate massive advertising revenue. Meta generated about $165 billion in total revenue in 2024, and its stock jumped more than 60% that same year. Meta has essentially become the digital town square where humanity gathers to share baby photos, argue about pineapple on pizza, and get into heated debates about things they half remember reading in an article they didn't actually finish. And somehow, this chaos generates enough advertising revenue to make Meta one of the most valuable companies on Earth. The company's real achievement is making social media feel essential to modern life. Before Facebook, if you wanted to keep up with old friends, you had to actually call them or send emails. Now you can passive-aggressively monitor their life choices through their posts while never actually having a conversation with them. Tesla, the car company that thinks it's a tech startup. Tesla isn't just making electric cars. They're making electric cars while simultaneously trying to revolutionize energy storage, solar power, autonomous driving, and apparently whatever else Elon Musk thought about during his morning coffee. It's like watching someone play SimCity, but in real life and with real money. Tesla has had a turbulent 2025 so far. Co-founder and CEO Elon Musk's entry into politics at the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, led to backlash against the automaker in the form of boycotts and even vandalism of Tesla vehicles. Because apparently, when you're the CEO of a car company, getting involved in politics is like wearing a "kick me" sign to a middle school. But Tesla's real innovation wasn't just making electric cars, it was making electric cars that people actually wanted to buy. Before Tesla, electric vehicles were basically golf carts that you drove to signal your environmental consciousness while accepting that you'd never go more than 50 miles from home. Tesla made electric cars that were fast, fun to drive, and came with massive touchscreens that made you feel like you were piloting a spaceship. They turned the car from a transportation device into a technology platform that just happens to have wheels. The company also pioneered the concept of selling cars directly to consumers online, which was revolutionary in an industry that had been selling cars through dealerships for over a century. It's like someone deciding to sell houses by setting up a website instead of going through real estate agents, except it actually worked. Tesla's supercharger network also solved the biggest problem with electric cars. Where do you charge them when you're not at home? They basically built the gas stations of the electric car era, except instead of smelling like petroleum and despair, they're clean, fast, and often located next to fancy shopping centers. The company's almost there, the trillion-dollar wannabes, There's a whole category of companies camping outside the trillion-dollar club, like people waiting in line for concert tickets. Berkshire Hathaway has a market cap valuation of $874.76 and an average annual growth rate of 10%. Based on its historical growth trajectory, it will join the exclusive trillion-dollar club in 2025. TSMC has a market cap valuation of $893.7. At an average annual growth rate of 32.13%, it is expected to become a trillion market cap company in 2025. TSMC is basically the company that makes the chips that go into everyone else's devices. They're like the ingredient supplier that all the famous chefs depend on. Except instead of making flour and eggs, they make the most advanced semiconductors on the planet. Eli Lilly is an American pharmaceutical and biotechnology company founded in the United States in 1876. At its market cap valuation of $823.3 billion and a hefty annual growth average rate of 46.29%, Eli Lilly is projected to become a trillion-dollar company by 2025. They're basically the company that makes the drugs that help people manage diabetes, depression, and various other conditions that modern life throws at us. These companies are like the kids pressed against the window of the candy store, watching the trillion-dollar companies inside and knowing they're almost there. They have the revenue, the growth, the market position. They just need that final push to break through the magical trillion-dollar barrier. It's like watching someone play a video game where they're at level 99 and need just a little more experience to hit level 100 and unlock the exclusive trillion-dollar achievement badge. Except the badge comes with stock options and the respect of financial analysts worldwide. The global picture. Why trillion-dollar companies matter. 11 of the largest companies have a market cap of at least $1 trillion, and they're not just big numbers on a stock ticker, they're reshaping how the entire world works. These companies collectively employ millions of people, influence global supply chains, and essentially determine what technologies get developed and how quickly. When Nvidia decides to focus on AI chips, suddenly every tech company in the world starts building AI into their products. When Apple decides to remove the headphone jack from phones, every other phone manufacturer follows suit, usually while complaining about how stupid it is, then doing it anyway. Globally, there are 5,522 publicly listed firms valued at $1 billion or more, but the trillion-dollar companies are like the popular kids in high school. Everyone else either wants to be them, copy them, or find ways to work with them. With a $60.1 trillion market cap, the US stock market commands 49% of the global market share and the highest concentration of billion-dollar firms. It's like the United States is hosting the world's most exclusive party, and most of the VIP guests happen to be trillion-dollar companies. These companies have become so large that they're basically their own economies. Apple's annual revenue is larger than the GDP of most countries. Amazon employs more people than some cities have residents. Google processes more searches in a day than most libraries see in a year. The technology revolution, how we got here. The path to trillion-dollar valuations runs directly through the technology revolution of the past few decades. It's like watching the evolution of transportation from horses to cars to airplanes, except compressed into about 30 years and involving a lot more semiconductors. AI is advancing at an incredible pace, with the progression from perception AI, understanding images, words, and sounds, to generative AI, creating text, images, and sound, to physical AI, AI that can perceive, reason, plan, and act. We've basically gone from computers that could barely display text to computers that can have conversations, create art, and potentially drive cars. The internet created the foundation. Smartphones made technology portable. Cloud computing made it scalable. And artificial intelligence is making it intelligent. Each wave created new trillion-dollar opportunities for companies smart enough, or lucky enough, to ride them. It's like technological progress became a giant game of musical chairs. Except instead of chairs, there are trillion-dollar market opportunities, and instead of music stopping, new technologies keep getting invented faster than companies can adapt to them. The future. What comes after trillion? Within the next 4 years, Nvidia plans to produce up to $500 billion of AI infrastructure in the United States. That's not market cap, that's actual production value. We're talking about building so much AI infrastructure that it becomes a significant portion of the entire economy. Tens of gigawatt AI factories are expected to be built in the coming years. These aren't just data centers, they're facilities specifically designed to process artificial intelligence at a scale that was unimaginable just a few years ago. The next wave of trillion-dollar companies will probably come from whoever figures out how to monetize artificial intelligence in ways we haven't thought of yet. It's like being at the dawn of the internet and trying to predict that someone would eventually build a trillion-dollar company by letting people share photos of their food. Maybe it'll be robotics companies that make humanoid robots as common as smartphones. Maybe it'll be biotech companies that cure aging or extend human lifespans. Maybe it'll be space companies that figure out how to mine asteroids or build cities on Mars. Or maybe it'll be something completely unexpected, like a company that figures out how to make virtual reality actually good, or turns cryptocurrency into something useful, or creates artificial intelligence that's so helpful that everyone needs it, but so friendly that nobody fears it. The conclusion: the trillion-dollar club explained. So there you have it, every trillion-dollar company explained. From Nvidia's accidental AI dominance to Apple's luxury tech empire, from Amazon's everything store evolution to Google's information monopoly. What's fascinating is how these companies all took different paths to reach the same destination. Nvidia got there by accidentally building the infrastructure for an AI revolution. Apple got there by making technology beautiful and desirable. Amazon got there by making shopping effortless and building the internet's backbone. Google got there by organizing the world's information and selling access to people's attention. The common thread is that each company solved a fundamental problem that millions or billions of people didn't even know they had. Nvidia solved the problem of not having enough computing power for AI. Apple solved the problem of technology being ugly and complicated. Amazon solved the problem of having to go to stores to buy things. Google solved the problem of not being able to find information quickly. These companies didn't just build better mousetraps, they convinced the world that it had a mouse problem it never knew existed, then built mousetraps so good that mice actually wanted to get caught. The trillion-dollar club isn't just about having big market capitalizations, it's about becoming so essential to modern life that imagining the world without these companies feels impossible. Try to picture daily life without smartphones, internet search, online shopping, or social media. It's like trying to imagine a world without electricity or running water. Whether you love them or hate them, these trillion-dollar companies have fundamentally reshaped human civilization in just a few decades. They've changed how we communicate, how we work, how we learn, how we shop, and how we entertain ourselves. And the crazy part, we're probably just getting started. The next trillion-dollar company is probably being founded right now by someone in a garage, a dorm room, or maybe even a Denny's, working on a problem that seems small today, but will seem essential tomorrow. The trillion-dollar club is exclusive, but it's not closed. The question isn't whether there will be more trillion-dollar companies, it's which problems humanity hasn't realized it needs to solve yet, and who's going to be smart enough, lucky enough, or persistent enough to solve them first.